When I first moved into Oakridge Estates, I knew the neighborhood had rules, pristine lawns, matching mailboxes, and the kind of quiet you could hear your own heartbeat in. But I didn't just move in as a resident. What no one knew, and what I intended to keep quiet, was that I was the newly elected president of the Homeowner Authority, a higher oversight body created to monitor and audit our notorious HOA board. My role was powerful but discreet, allowing me to review every policy, every fine, every abuse of power. And in Oakridge Estates, there were plenty of those. It didn't take long before I encountered her, the woman neighbors only referred to in hushed tones: Karen. Karen had built her identity around HOA gossip and control. She wasn't officially on the board, but she was their self-appointed enforcer. Every day she marched the streets with her clipboard, snapping photos of violations, a slightly faded wreath, a trash can visible for 3 minutes too long, even a child's bicycle leaning against a porch railing. The first time she noticed me, I was unloading my truck. I had yet to put my recycling bin behind the gate, and she swooped in like a hawk spotting prey. "Sir," she barked, "that bin is visible from the street. Violation code 3.2. I smiled politely, said nothing, and kept working. She scribbled furiously on her pad, clearly satisfied with herself. That was mistake number 1 for her. Over the next few weeks, Karen's watchful eyes followed me everywhere. She'd slow her walk when passing my property, peeking over my fence as if I'd planted illegal crops in the backyard. I caught her once, snapping a picture of my car parked on the street. Perfectly legal, but in her mind, another crime against the sacred order of Oakridge. She even left me a note in my mailbox. Repeated violations may result in fines. No signature, just the passive-aggressive confidence of someone who believed she was untouchable. What Karen didn't realize was that I had been quietly building a case file on her. The Homeowners Authority had received multiple complaints about harassment from unofficial enforcers like her. My position gave me access to all HOA correspondence and records, including the fact that Karen had already been warned twice about overstepping her boundaries. She had no actual authority, but the HOA board turned a blind eye because she did their dirty work. Things came to a head one Saturday morning. I was in my driveway washing my car when Karen marched up, clipboard in hand, eyes blazing. "I'm filing a report on you," she announced. "You've been leaving your porch light on during daylight hours. That's wasteful and against community energy guidelines." I almost laughed. There was no such rule. She had made it up, but instead I played along. "You're going to report me?" I asked calmly. "Yes," she said. "And trust me, the board will fine you. We take these matters seriously." That's when I decided it was time. The following Monday, I scheduled an emergency HOA compliance meeting. As president of the Homeowners Authority, I could call these at will. I requested that the HOA board attend, along with any resident who had recently filed or been the subject of a complaint. Karen, predictably, arrived early, sitting in the front row with her arms crossed and her clipboard balanced like a weapon. She didn't even notice me take the elevated seat at the front of the room, the one reserved for the presiding officer. When the meeting began, I introduced myself. "My name is Daniel Brooks, and as some of you may not know, I am the president of the Homeowners Authority." The shift in the room was instant. Karen's smirk faltered. A few neighbors exchanged wide-eyed glances. "We are here today," I continued, "to address ongoing harassment and abuse of HOA processes by individuals who do not hold elected authority yet act as if they do." I pulled out a thick folder and began reading documented incidents: excessive photo taking, fabricated violation notices, intimidation of residents. With each example, I glanced up to see Karen shrinking in her chair, her face paling. "And now," I said, "we come to the most recent case, a false violation report filed against me for a non-existent energy guideline infraction." I held up the note she had left in my mailbox. "This," I said, is not only unfounded, but a direct breach of HOA harassment policies. And this is not the first time such behavior has been reported. The room was silent except for the sound of my papers shuffling. "Karen," I said, addressing her directly, "you are hereby issued a formal cease and desist order from the Homeowners Authority. Any further interference in HOA matters without authorization will result in legal action." Her mouth opened, but no words came out. The clipboard in her hands seemed suddenly too heavy, and she set it down on the chair beside her. The board members avoided her gaze, knowing they had let her run wild for too long. The aftermath was swift. Without her self-appointed role, Karen faded into the background of the neighborhood. She avoided me entirely, her morning patrols replaced with quiet walks that didn't linger in front of anyone's home. Residents began to relax, children played outside without the fear of being reported for noise violations, and backyard barbecues became a regular sight again. For me, the whole ordeal was a reminder of one thing: power without accountability is dangerous, but power with the right timing can change everything. Karen had stepped up to report me, certain she was dealing with just another resident. But she had no idea she was trying to intimidate the one person with the authority to end her reign for good. And in Oakridge Estates, that was exactly what I did. Even now, months later, I still see her at the occasional community event. She gives me a tight, forced smile, and I return it with a nod. We both know the truth. She'll never try it again.